So just this week, our department enacted a meeting-free zone from 12 to 1 each day. And I applaud it. I do. And I also feel like nobody should need a policy like this to feel they can step away for lunch or disconnect from work when your workday is done. Even without a meeting-free zone policy or a no email past 5 p.m. policy, do you set your own boundaries? Because you have the power to. You have so much more control over your time than you think. You just need to seize it. And you often don't need anyone's approval except for your own. My name is Tara Moeller, and I'm the founder of Motherhood Balanced, helping working moms to have the space in their life to actually have it all. And I have so many clients who, when they start working with me, they're sleeping with their phones, literally. It's the last thing they check before they go to bed and the first thing that they do when they get up. There's this sense of urgency to just check, to make sure nothing was needed from them. They have their phones near or sitting on, maybe even flipped over, but on the dinner table. Right? It's like this beacon ready to ding at any moment and interrupt whatever flow of connection was trying to happen at that table. They take their phones on dog walks or breaks to check and respond to notifications, even during their lunchtime. They're never away. And it causes hypervigilance, right? A brain-body stress response of always being on, causing this perpetual fear that they're missing something. It causes them not to be present for those who truly matter most to them in the evenings. And when I dig deeper as to the why they can't not be available, it usually comes down to one of two things, or a combination of both. One, you want to be perceived as available. You don't want to look like a slacker or that you're not doing your work, or you truly do want to help others out when they need help. And this is all admirable, and I would argue, however, this mindset often gets in the way of doing great work. Because for most of us who work in non-life depending roles, our value is not determined by how fast we email someone back. I would argue it's the thoughtfulness of the response, the accurate information, the clarity of direction that is actually more valuable. And yes, it needs to be timely, but not immediate. And often great work happens when you have a block of uninterrupted time to actually think and work. And this shouldn't have to happen at night when no one else is working. Remember, you have more control over your schedule than you think. You just need to start taking it. The second reason that many of my clients often have trouble not being available is because they're, even on a subconscious level, equating with being available with being needed or important. And goodness, it is great to feel needed sometimes, right? It makes us feel like our work is important. But when people come to you for advice or something that needs to be done, they're coming to you primarily because they know they're going to get a quality answer or information. And again, if that happens an hour later or even a business day later when you're providing that valuable information, it's still the same valuable information. Aren't you important enough to yourself and your family to give them all of you sometimes? So when I help clients with this, I often ask these questions. What situations could or have come up during the day or night where you would legitimately, right, need to respond immediately? And the same thing within an hour. The same thing within the same business days. What are those situations? Oftentimes, my clients come up with none or very few. And then I ask, well, what type of boundary then, that rule with yourself, do you want to set? And does it need to be communicated or just implemented? So for example, you could put yourself away in Teams when you're done for the day. This way, anyone who even tries to chat with you actually sees it. And if you feel it's necessary, you can even put a way to contact you for matters that need attending before 9 a.m. the next morning. You could talk with your team or teammates about what situations require certain response times or escalation past working hours and what that process should be. So then instead of continuing to just check in case and feel that you need to do that all the time, you know that there's going to be another trigger, right? An actual phone call or text or something else that you'll get if you're urgently needed. You could also set focus time on your calendar each week where you start your day by working on your most important project, even before opening email. I've gotten some of my most effective work done this way. You could simply just not check your email after you close the workday. The only reason you are actually getting emails past working time is because you are checking them. What did people do before they had computers on their hip, right? They left work and their work was right there for them the next day. So, you are important, and it is important for you to be able to set those boundaries for yourself. If you need some assistance, I'm always here.